Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Theater of Football. I'm Mike Kodem, and I'm joined tonight by Patrick Heinrich. Excuse me.
Well,
Hello,
thank you,
Patrick.
Mike. Good to be here. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, glad to have you. Sorry I butchered that introduction. So we are coming off of the Carabao Cup semifinal against Manchester City. It was Ole's fourth semifinal, and it was the fourth semifinal that he lost.
Yep.
Patrick, what do you make of this?
Well, our performance in that semifinal was just about as good as the performance of your opening line. Just kidding.
That's spot on, my friend,
Poking
spot
fun.
on.
No, I thought it was interesting, and by interesting, I mean not great, that we conceded both goals from set pieces. I know that's been talked about quite a bit, but I think that's a bit unusual, especially with how United have been playing recently. I don't think I've seen that in quite a while. So, but I thought, to me, the couple surprises. I was actually surprised that Bailly didn't start. I know that's been a common conversation piece, and I thought Bailly could have done a lot to help in that match. Maybe he certainly couldn't have helped our attack, which was also a problem. So we were kind of just all around a problem. And actually, that the game is not going so well when you think that perhaps, at least in my opinion, Luke Shaw may have played better than anybody else in that whole match. So that we're really suffering if that's the case. Luke Shaw, man of the match. But that's. I mean, it was just also another, in my opinion, classic example of Maguire bungling the defense in strategic moments. I know he didn't. He wasn't bad the entire game actually, and like we've said on this channel, like we think he's getting better. Certainly since the beginning of the season. But it's just another opportunity for him to have let a ball go through, and I really don't. After seeing Bailly and Maguire play, I really don't like Bailly and Lindelof anymore. Like I've completely soured on them, and I just think that like we need to get Bailly back in there, in my opinion. But we also didn't have a great showing up in the front and on the forwards as well. So it was all around just really like a really really poor showing. And I don't think Manchester City did like an amazing job by any means. Like of course, I think they deserve to win. It's not like they fluked 2 goals through, but I thought that they weren't like overly impressive.
Yeah, well, yeah, Man City weren't overly impressive. They weren't the Guardiola Man City that we were used to when
Right.
they were winning titles.
Sure.
I'll talk about Guardiola in a second, but Maguire, I gave Maguire a 4, and I'm a harsh grade when it comes to player ratings. I
Sounds
see player
appropriate to me.
ratings on websites, and I'll see, like I think some had like Maguire as a 7, and I understand that, but he's our captain in the key moments of the match. We had a corner in the first half, and it seems like our delivery from corners in particular has gotten a lot better this season. And we're aiming for him, obviously, and he's able to get free and get his head on the ball, but that's no good if he's just going to head it, 2 yards wide or 5 yards over the bar. I mean, I just, that's just a goal kick at that point. It's a great clearance for the team.
Yeah.
So that part of it, I've grown very frustrated with. And the key moment in the match is that Phil Foden free kick, and you see it go past, I think Lindelof, and then Maguire and Shaw, I guess, was marking Stones. And the commentators were talking about, they kept blaming Shaw for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, the person who had the best opportunity to clear that ball was Maguire. And he runs back towards the goal like he's supposed to do. The ball comes in and he just slows down and stops because either I just think he's afraid he's going to make an own goal.
Right.
And in that situation, I'd rather him make an own goal than try to luck through that situation. I'd rather him take a chance, try and clear the ball. And if it comes off crooked off his foot into the net, then so be it.
Yeah.
But at least go and try and make a play on that, because the worst thing for me to see is a center back for the other team running in on the back post,
That's right.
bungling the ball over the net or over the line into the net,
Yep.
and them taking a lead. That
Yeah.
is so cheap.
Yeah.
And I realize City were better than us on the day, but at the point it was 0-0 in the second half. In the first half, I thought we probably on the balance of the play weren't quite as good, but I thought we were still. It still felt like we were dangerous, but we gave up that goal. And after that goal, even though we may have had more of the ball, I didn't feel like we were going to score at all.
Yeah. Well, that's why that's a prime example of why I think that because Lindelof acts the same way as Maguire does. Like they have the same mentality. And I think the reason why Bailly did so well is Bailly's not afraid to jump his head in the box to deflect a shot on goal. Like
Yeah,
he's not afraid to get in there and make some of those like snap decisions to like just go in and get the ball out. Whereas sometimes I think Maguire and Lindelof both it feels like they hesitate sometimes to make some of those like, snap judgment plays.
mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not not. I've said that. Bailly feels like he's proactive, but he's also reactive. And
Yeah.
Maguire and Lindelof feel like they're kind of neither at this point.
Yeah, well, Bailly at least like takes chances. Like Lindelof and Maguire are like, I'm always going to take the safest route, and the safest route is going to be the slowest reaction.
The problem with Bailly, and it's not really a problem. I mean, it is, but he'll put his body on the line, but that kind of results in him getting all these injuries, right?
Exactly.
So it's like a double-edged sword.
For sure.
And that part of it's frustrating, but I mean, if he was in there, he probably would have tried to deal with it. I'm confident in saying that. And we saw in the two previous matches when Bailly was partnering Maguire, there was one instance in the Wolves match where it was a 2-on-2 counterattack, and I never seen this before. I mean, maybe I had, I just forgot. But he actually, the player with the ball was running at Maguire, and he left the second man to come over to kind of double team that player and to force him to pass the ball. And as soon as it looked like he was passing the ball, and he did pass the ball, Bailly just turned on his heel and ran back and like took the ball away.
Yeah.
So he saved Maguire there. And then you saw in the last minute against Villa where Maguire failed to deal with a cross into the box. And again, this is what Maguire should be good at, is dealing with crosses into the box, dealing with aerial duels. He should win all of those, but he didn't. Davis got the ball down. He took a shot at goal, and Bailly had scrambled across to throw his body on the line to block it and to preserve those 3 points.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I thought Lindelof, in my eyes, didn't commit any egregious errors.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the box, or he didn't go forward for any of our set pieces or anything like that, so I can't criticize him there.
Yeah.
But he was staying back to protect against any counterattack. But like you're right, they don't, they're like the same man, and you need to have a complement in the back. Like Vidic and Ferdinand, that they were two very different types of players, and they complemented each other well. And you feel like Bailly, when he's partnered with Maguire, or even if he's partnered with Lindelof, it just feels like a more solid duo back there.
Yeah.
So
I'd be curious to see Maguire and Lindelof swap. I know that's never going to happen, but if we're just shooting in the dark on like interesting things that would make me happy, like have like Lindelof and Bailly start. But that could, I mean, it's just like they're so much of the same person to me. I wonder if it's like a new opportunity to try and expand ourselves out, and maybe, well, obviously I think all of us agree it'd be great to try and pick up another center back in the next transfer window, but it'd be at least interesting to try it out. But then again, it's like what match you can try it out on. Like, we're top of the table, so we're not going to risk anything in the Premier League. And now that we're out of 2 cup competitions, we're probably not going to risk it against Watford. So.
Yeah, probably not. We'll talk about Watford. Yeah, let's talk about Watford now. So it's interesting bring up. Let's also stay on the topic of Bailly and Lindelof, because I feel like since Maguire got to the club, he hasn't been injured. I think he maybe missed one game due to maybe a knock.
Yeah.
But there really hasn't been. I mean, Bailly's missed a ton of games due to various injuries,
Yeah.
and Lindelof's had this ongoing back problem.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen Bailly and Lindelof play together for just as those to just them two for a very long time.
Yeah.
Is that so against Watford? Would you want to see that? I mean, is that something you think might happen potentially? Even though you said that we're already out of the Champions League, we are in the Europa League, so
That's true. Yeah.
But we're obviously out of the Carabao Cup now. Would you want us to Watford against Watford, a Championship club, play Bailly and Lindelof together?
Sure.
Yeah.
Will it happen? No.
No. Yeah, I actually, to me, you didn't play Bailly against City. I'd rather save Bailly for Burnley, and hopefully he gets through that and he can play 5 days later against Liverpool.
Yep, that's true.
I would rather see Tuanzebe come back in from the start and playing as a center back, not as a right back.
Yeah.
And I would want him to partner Lindelof, just because at some point you got to give Maguire a rest. I mean,
he's got the most minutes on the pitch.
Yeah. What did I read? He played the most minutes in 2020 of any outfield player in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
And
well, he didn't miss a single. He wasn't he didn't miss a single match.
He's not even that. I mean, I would say he's not even. Yeah, he's not even that good. I mean, you would expect that to be like a Bruno, and Bruno was, I think, on the top 10, like 5th or 6th or something. But
yeah,
you would expect the number one player to be like a Ronaldo or a Messi or big name player. No, it's Harry Maguire.
I know. Everyone's got to get their name out there somehow.
It's crazy. So yeah, I would like to see Lindelof and Tuanzebe start as our center back pairing.
Yeah.
I don't think Tuanzebe is as athletic as Bailly, but he hasn't played much this year. His big game was against PSG in Paris, and he was excellent.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have seen him get more chances at this point. I think he has had a couple of niggling injuries, but I would like to see him get the start.
Yeah, and it's a good opportunity.
Do you expect Henderson to stay in goal?
I expect to see De Gea. I'll be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think, I don't know. It's in sometimes I feel like Ollie is very reactive to these things, and I think he's going to throw De Gea back in goal.
Well, I think you might be right, actually. I think you have a good point, because I wanted him to start Henderson against City.
Right.
But I thought he was going to bring De Gea back in.
Right.
But he actually went against what he did last year.
Yep.
And started the goalkeeper who had played all the way in that competition.
Yep.
And he might think, although I don't think Henderson was necessarily at fault for either goal.
No.
He might think, oh, well, I'm going to bring David back in. And he might, and normally I would think that you would start your number 2 goalkeeper against Watford in the FA Cup 3rd round.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with you. I think he'll bring David back in. And maybe Henderson might wind up playing against Burnley 3 days later, but I feel like he might do that. I think you might have a good you might be onto something there, Patrick.
Well, in true fashion, the opposite will happen, and he'll make fools of us all. So
he'll make fools of us all by playing Lee Grant.
That's true. That's not outside of the realm of possibility against Watford, perhaps.
Maybe not. I mean, Lee Grant is capable of coming up with a master class, so maybe he can do that again. Maybe, hopefully, we don't need him to do that, but maybe he's capable of doing that if necessary.
For sure.
Moving forward up the pitch, how do you want to see Bruno involved in this?
I think I'd like to see Bruno not involved in this
at all. Not even on the bench.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna. I would say I would say have him on the bench.
Yeah.
I think we should sub him out. Maybe not in the last like 4 minutes, like Van de Beek, but like let's not do that again. But like I don't know, bring him in the last 15 minutes. See, depending on how things are going. But I'd like to see him rested. I know, like it always seems like like Ali is fighting Bruno to like get him off the pitch to rest all the time. He's always like, oh, Bruno really wants to play, but I mean, I think we should take the opportunity to give him a rest.
That's fun. It's funny you say that because I don't think I mentioned this when we talked about our quarterfinal Carabao Cup win against Everton. But I was surprised when Bruno started that match. But watching it, it was like he told Bruno, "I'll let you start, but you can, and I'll let you work hard for like the first and last 10 minutes of both halves. But in between, you got to take a break.
Yeah.
You can't run as much as you normally do because he didn't.
Yeah, you can't be everywhere and involve yourself in everything like Bruno tries to do.
Yeah, and that's kind of how that game went. So I thought like watching that at first I was like, why is he out there? And I saw him after like 20 minutes. I really the first 10 minutes he was active, he was everywhere, he was involved in everything. Then the next 10 minutes we were still kind of on the front foot in that match, but
Yeah.
he wasn't involved in stuff. It was other
Yeah.
players doing the work.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was like Ole saying, okay, you want to play, I'll let you play, but you have to take some time off during the match.
That's right.
You have to make sure you get your breaks in.
Yeah. I don't want to see you crossing into the defensive half after 20 minutes, and then you can do it again 5 minutes before the end of the half.
That's sort of how that went.
That's right. That's true.
But
Actual transcript.
yeah, I want to see him rested. I want to see Rashford rested because I just don't think Rashford is able to play. He just seems to get wary at times. So
Yeah.
I want to see him rest, and hopefully we don't need to bring them on at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, if necessary, bring them on for the last 20 minutes or so. If we need, if it's still tied or heaven forbid we are down in the match,
Yeah.
bring them on then to help save something. But I think Ole said in his press conference that Donnie's going to start, so I'm excited to see that.
Excellent.
I would assume if he's starting that he would be playing the Bruno position, which would mean that Bruno would be on the bench.
Yep.
But you never know. And
Yeah.
and I believe he said Igalo, who's going to go back to China at the end of the month. He said he would be involved.
Yep. Involved. Right. He said he'll be on the squad.
he'll be in the squad. So he'll be part of the 20-man squad, which means he'll probably be on the bench. And if he still has a substitution window left, he'll probably get thrown on in the second minute of stoppage time.
Yep, probably.
For his 1.5 minutes of swan song.
Yeah. Although I'd love to see him start.
I would too. And always said that he was whatever game they were playing as far as striking or finishing or whatever the strikers do. I forget what he called it. Something I never heard of. But he was like, oh, he was the best this week. He was the sharpest at that. And I'm like, okay, if he's the sharpest, then start him. I mean, Edinson, third match of his 3-match ban.
Yep.
Rashford, I want to see rested. Martial, I don't really care one way or another. Nothing against him necessarily, but I feel like Edinson will start at Burnley. So
yeah. Do you think we'll see Lingard?
That I read a couple of days, or I guess it was just yesterday, Thursday, that he would start, that he would play, or he would start.
It's like that's one of the things like I expected in the press conference. He was talking about people that would play. I'm like, I can't remember like how many times he said in the FA Cup or the Champions League, they're asking him about, hey, is Jesse going to start? And he's like, oh yeah, Jesse will be on the squad. Jesse will be there. Jesse will be there definitely. And like, he never showed up at all. And now it's like, nobody asks him about it anymore. And then I feel like he's just going to show up for the Watford match.
Yeah. Well, I read that. And I also read that Lingard, and this has been something I've been reading for a long time, many months, that David Moyes was trying to sign him.
Oh yeah.
At West Ham. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I would think I bet he'll wind up being part of the bench.
Yeah.
'Cause I see a front, well, four if you, I really don't have any clue I assume he'll play like a 4-2-3-1 type of formation, but I
Yeah.
don't know who the two will be. I kind of think Matic will play,
Yeah.
but I don't know. He might start Pogba. I don't know. I don't know who will be his partner, but I feel like the three and the one will wind up being Martial. And the three I feel like will be James, Van de Beek and Mata.
Oh yeah.
I don't
That's
think
true.
he'll start Greenwood.
Yeah. Mata makes sense.
Yeah, I mean Mata hasn't started a match recently that I can recall. I don't think he started for a good few games. So I could see him, and he hasn't come off the bench in sometimes. So I think he'll start, and I feel like James will start on the other flank. And I've also heard rumors that we're trying to loan out James potentially this window for the rest of the season, and I feel like if that's the case, James starting a couple games recently as he did against Leeds and Leicester,
Yeah.
Ole kind of trying to put him in the shop window.
Yeah.
So I feel like this would be another opportunity for him to do that as well, unless something is
Yeah.
imminent as far as him going out on loan.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm hoping for a good game. I want to finish on something else in the FA Cup third round, Patrick. Tottenham, their match was it Sunday against
Yeah.
Marine?
On Sunday, Marine AFC.
Yeah. You expressed interest to me in this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting. How often do you get to see a seventh tier team play a Premier League team, and a Premier League team who just recently came off of being at the top of the Premier League? So I think I was I can't remember the exact number, but it's Marine is 145 or 142 teams below Tottenham. So I think it's just a great opportunity to see that game that you don't get a lot of chance to see.
I think this is why even us here in America love the FA Cup. Is
Yeah.
because any club, any team that's put together feels like they can get into the FA Cup, and
Yeah.
there's all these preliminary rounds and all this stuff. But if you can keep winning games and get far enough, you could potentially get that big draw against Tottenham or Leicester, Liverpool, or Manchester United.
Yeah.
And that is the aura of the FA Cup. I also read this week that I guess with the most recent UK lockdown, combined with something with weather, extremely cold weather there in the northwest of England, that both Everton and Liverpool came in to let them use their training facilities to
Yeah.
stay in shape and get ready for the match.
Yeah, I read about that too. That's so cool.
Yeah, that is really cool of them. So I mean, I like you, I'll probably tune in and hope that tune in for a while and hope that they can kind of keep it going. Part of what I love is just these teams go into the these small pitches and having capacity of 1,000 or 2,000 fans there, and they're just crammed in there, lining the edge of the field, standing, watching, and that's so cool. But unfortunately, we won't have that this weekend. The fans there, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Marine fans there are out there, but I'm sure however many there are, and probably many who aren't but would want to go to the match, are disappointed that they can't attend that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like to get the opportunity to play in that type of stadium, or to play in a enormous stadium with no fans, that's got to be killer.
Yeah, very disappointing in that aspect, but they should be proud of their team making it that far.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't expect them to win, but
Yeah.
it'll be an interesting game considering Mourinho, and we know all about his more turgid tactics, more pragmatic tactics.
Yeah.
They obviously have the players that they should be able to take the game to such a lowly club, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, I expect Tottenham to win handily, but
Yeah,
it'll be an interesting watch for at
for
least
sure.
20 minutes to a half.
That's true. Make it to the half and it'll be good.
I mean, that's what Villa's under 18 team did today against Liverpool. It's like the whole first team and a lot of the reserves were out due to COVID, and they still played the match. And I think everyone in the team made their first team debut, and they went into the half at 1-1. So
Nice.
and I think it took Liverpool until the 15th minute of the second half to finally get their noses in front. And that was through Gigi Wijnaldum, and when he scored, he looked disgusted. So
Yeah.
fair play to him. I mean, he understood what was going on, and that them taking a 2-1 lead in the 60th minute against those players was nothing to celebrate.
Nothing to be excited about.
No, but yeah, that's a part of the magic of the FA Cup. So
That's for sure.
the curtain's now closing on the theater of football, but we hope those of you out there watching and listening enjoy this weekend's FA Cup magic and have just have a great weekend, and yeah, just enjoy United playing Watford and Marine against Tottenham. Just great stuff.
Those are our
Anyway,
2 recommended matches.
yes, the 2 recommended matches. You bring that up. I was looking at the schedule, and there was really nothing that really. I mean, Villa against Liverpool, given Villa's 7-2 win against Liverpool early in the year, would have been primetime viewing, but
Yeah.
circumstances didn't really dictate that.
For sure.
But thank you, Patrick, for joining me
No problem.
tonight. And all of you out there, take care. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the FA Cup, and we'll be back soon.
Cheers, everyone.
Oh, hello. Thank you for watching the Theater of Football. If you think Mike got it wrong yet again, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.